Have you ever had that moment where a guy says nothing more than hi to you, and suddenly you feel like your heart skipped a beat? You don't even know why, but something about the way he greeted you felt different, almost like there was a secret message hidden in that one simple word. Here's the thing, men are not always great at saying what they really feel. They might not walk up to you and declare, "I like you." In fact, most of the time, they're doing the exact opposite, trying to keep their cool, stay casual, and not give away too much. But their body, their tone, their smile that gives them away every single time. When a man secretly likes you, his greeting is never just a greeting, it's an emotional slip. It's his heart leaking out before his brain can catch up. And if you know what to look for, that 2-second hello can reveal more than an entire hour-long conversation. Think about it, a man will say hi to the barista, to his colleague, to his neighbor, but when it's you, his whole vibe shifts. Suddenly he's warmer, more engaged, maybe even a little nervous. Why? Because the stakes are higher. Because you're not just anyone, you're the woman he wants to impress, the one who makes him feel something. And here's what I want you to do, stop brushing off those greetings like they mean nothing. Start noticing the little details. Does he hold eye contact for just a second longer than necessary? Does his voice drop into that smoother, sexier tone? Does his smile stay like he's savoring the moment? These aren't accidents. These are clues. And today, I'm going to break them down for you. The 5 key ways men greet a woman they secretly like. Once you hear this, you'll never second guess again whether he's into you or not. So buckle up, because after today, the way you look at a man's hello will never be the same again. You're about to unlock the secret language hidden in the simplest word in the world. Hi, let's start with the first and most powerful giveaway, his smile. Now, men smile all the time. They smile at friends, at colleagues, at people they pass in the hallway. But when it comes to you, the woman he secretly likes, that smile becomes a completely different language. Here's the truth, a smile is one of the hardest things to fake. You can force words, you can hide feelings, but the human smile, that's raw, that's instinctive, and it slips out when emotions can't be contained. Think about this. You walk into a room, maybe it's at work, maybe it's at a party, maybe it's just at your local coffee shop. The moment he sees you, his face lights up. His mouth curves into a grin that's wider, warmer, and more alive than the one he gives anyone else. It's not just a polite, "Oh, hey, good to see you" smile. No, this is a lingering smile, the kind that hangs on his lips like it doesn't want to leave, because deep down, he doesn't want this moment, the moment of seeing you, to end. Why does it linger? Because his body can't help but celebrate your presence. It's like his nervous system is saying, finally, she's here. That's attraction, and it leaks out in that tiny detail. His smile lasts a beat too long. Here's a scenario. Picture him greeting a group of people, 5, 6 people in the same space. He does the polite nod, the casual way, maybe even a little chuckle, but then it's your turn. Suddenly, the smile deepens, his eyes soften, and instead of disappearing after a second, it stays. You walk away wondering, did I imagine that? Or was he smiling just for me? Let me tell you, you didn't imagine it. Men may not always say what's on their mind, but their smile tells the truth. Now, here's where it gets fun. Sometimes that lingering smile comes with an added twist. He doesn't even realize he's doing it. He might even try to cover it up. You'll notice it when he greets you and then quickly clears his throat, looks down, or distracts himself with something else. Why? Because he caught himself grinning like a teenager and doesn't want to give away the secret too easily. Ladies, I want you to test this. Next time you see him, watch closely. If his smile lingers just a little too long, playfully match his energy. Give him a smile that stays just a heartbeat longer than polite. That's when the chemistry kicks in. When 2 unspoken smiles meet in the middle, and suddenly neither of you can pretend it's casual anymore. Another sign, the smile that shows up even before he says a word. You'll notice he spots you across the room, and before he even opens his mouth, his lips curve up. That's not performance. That's instinct. That's attraction leaking out before he can put the mask back on. Let me flip it for a second. If his smile disappears quickly, if it's just a flash and gone, chances are it's polite. But if his smile feels like sunlight that lingers in the air long after he's greeted you, you're in his head whether he admits it or not. And here's the beautiful thing. A lingering smile is contagious. It makes you feel good. It makes him feel good. And it builds this little pocket of connection between you two that nobody else in the room can touch. It's his way of saying, without words, you make me happy. So if you've ever walked away from a hello thinking, wow, that smile felt different, trust yourself, because that's not just friendliness. That's attraction shining through in one of the simplest yet most telling ways men greet a woman they secretly like. Let's talk about the next giveaway that a man secretly likes you: his eyes. Now, you know that saying, the eyes never lie. Well, when it comes to attraction, it couldn't be more true. A man may try to act casual with his words, keep his tone steady, or even pretend he's just being politer, but his eyes will betray him every single time. Here's what I mean. Imagine this: you walk into a room and you lock eyes with him just for a second, but instead of the usual quick glance people exchange when they're being polite, his gaze lingers. He doesn't just see you, he absorbs you. It's like his eyes are saying, I can't believe she's here. That extra beat, that little pause, is where the truth lies. Now, men are different when it comes to eye contact. Some are bold. They'll hold your gaze with this intense magnetic energy, like they're daring you to look away. Others are shy. They'll look at you, then quickly glance down, pretending to be busy with their phone or their drink. But here's the secret. Both reactions mean he feels something. If he's bold, that lingering eye contact is him trying to connect. If he's shy, that quick glance away is him panicking because he got caught staring at the woman who makes his pulse race. Either way, the attraction is written all over his face. Ladies, here's a little tip watch for the double take. You know what I'm talking about? He looks once, looks away, and then he can't resist. His eyes come back. That's his subconscious giving up the game. He may tell himself, play it cool, don't stare, but his brain doesn't get the memo. He looks again because he wants more of you. He has a fun story. I once coached a woman who told me she thought a guy at her office wasn't interested because he barely spoke to her. But when she paid attention, she noticed that every time she walked past his desk, he looked up, not once, not twice, every single time. And not just looked, but lingered for a beat before pretending to dive back into his emails. Guess what? He liked her. The proof wasn't in his words, it was in his eyes. Now, here's where it gets really sexy. Eye contact isn't just about attraction, it's about connection. When a man greets you and holds your gaze for just a fraction longer, it creates this invisible thread between you. For that moment, the world fades out and it's just the two of you. That's why your stomach flips when it happens. That's why it feels electric, because in that second, you're both saying something without speaking at all. Of course, you might be wondering, how do you know the difference between friendly eye contact and the kind that screams attraction? Simple. Friendly eye contact is brief, polite, like checking a box. Attraction eye contact feels alive, it lingers, it makes you feel seen in a way that polite glances never do. And let me give you one more clue, the smile-eye combo. If he holds your gaze and then that smile sneaks in, oh, that's game over. That's not just friendliness, that's his entire body betraying him, saying, I can't help but light up when I see you. So next time a man greets you, don't just listen to the words, look at the eyes. Do they linger? Do they dart away nervously only to come back? Do they soften like he's looking at something precious? Because when a man secretly likes you, his eyes will tell you everything. Even if his mouth stays silent, even if he tries to play it cool, that gaze, that fraction of a second longer, is the secret signal you've been waiting for. Let's move to one of the sexiest giveaways of all: his voice. Think about this for a moment. A man's voice is like his signature. We recognize people not just by how they look, but by the way they sound. And here's the fun part. Men unconsciously shift their voice when they greet a woman they secretly like. They don't even realize they're doing it, but you'll feel it. Have you ever noticed how a guy says hello to a random friend versus how he says hello to you? With his buddies, it's flat, casual, sometimes even a little rough around the edges, but when it's you, suddenly his voice changes. It might drop a little deeper, get a little warmer, or soften in a way that feels intimate. That shift isn't random. That's attraction at work. Why does this happen? Because men instinctively adjust their tone when they're trying to make an impression. Science actually backs this up. Studies show that men naturally lower their voices when speaking to women they find attractive. It's biological. A deeper voice signals confidence, strength, even masculinity. It's his subconscious trying to say, notice me, I want to stand out. Now, not every guy goes into Barry White mode. Some men actually go the other way. Their voice lightens, gets a playful edge, almost like they're teasing without realizing it. Why? Because nerves kick in. He wants to sound approachable, fun, not too serious. Either way, that change in tone is his body betraying his true feelings. Here's a scenario. Imagine you walk into a room and say hi. He turns and suddenly his voice dips just a notch. Not a rushed, flat hello, a slower, more deliberate one. It's like he's savoring the sound of speaking to you. And you feel it, that little flutter in your stomach. That's not your imagination, that's chemistry. Or picture this, you're at a party, chatting in a group. He's laughing, his voice is animated, casual, but the moment he turns to greet you, there's a noticeable shift. His tone softens, almost like the rest of the room faded away. He's not speaking to the group anymore, he's speaking to you. Ladies, I want you to listen carefully the next time you're around him. Compare how he sounds when he greets other people versus how he greets you. Is there more warmth? Does it sound like he's leaning in, even if you're standing across the room? That's not politeness, that's attraction. And here's another clue, Pace. Men often slow down their words when they secretly like a woman. Instead of blurting out a quick A, he might drag it slightly. How are you? That slower pace is his way of extending the moment, of holding on to the interaction just a little longer. Now let's talk about the nervous voice, because this is important. Some men don't go deep and smooth. Instead, their voice cracks just a little, or they stumble over their words, and you might think, oh, he's not confident. But guess what? That's actually a sign he cares. He wants to make the right impression, and the nerves are his body's way of showing you that you matter more than the average person he talks to. The magic here is that the voice shift is something you can feel. It doesn't just sound different, it makes you feel different. It feels intentional, intimate, even if he's not aware of it. And that's why women so often say, I don't know why, but I love the way he says hello. It's not the word, it's the energy inside the word. So pay attention. His smile might light up his face, his eyes might linger on you, but his voice, that's the soundtrack of his attraction. When he secretly likes you, his hello isn't just a greeting, it's an invitation. It's his subconscious saying, stay a little longer. I want to connect with you. Let's talk about one of the most primal unconscious signs of attraction, the lean in. Here's what you need to know. When a man secretly likes you, his body betrays him before his words ever do. And the way he greets you, the way he positions himself, is one of the biggest giveaways. Think about it. When we're around people we're not interested in, we keep our distance. We stand back, we lean away, we create space. But when it comes to someone we secretly desire, we want to close that space. We lean in, we tilt our body toward them, often without even realizing it. Picture this. You're standing in a group, he's talking, laughing, being social. But the moment you step into the circle, his body shifts, his feet angle toward you, his shoulders turn in your direction. And when he greets you, he leans just slightly closer than he does with anyone else. It's subtle, but it's unmistakable. That lean is his body's way of saying, I want to be nearer to you. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be dramatic. He doesn't need to invade your space or make it obvious. Sometimes it's just the tiniest tilt, a forward lean when he says hello, like his body is magnetized to yours. He might not even notice he's doing it, but you will. You'll feel that closeness. Now, pay attention to context. If he greets everyone with the same energy, leaning in, patting backs, being the life of the party, that's just his personality. But if he's casual with others, then suddenly leans closer to you, lowers his voice, or angles his body so you feel like you're the center of his focus, that's not random. That's attraction making him break his own pattern. Here's a fun test. Next time you're talking to him, step back just slightly after he greets you. If he likes you, watch how his body follows. It's like gravity. He'll instinctively lean forward again, trying to close the gap you created. He's not doing it consciously. It's his biology saying, don't pull away. I want to stay close, and let's not ignore the little details. Does he dip his head slightly when he greets you, like he's lowering his height to be closer to your level? Does he lean across a table or over a counter just to be nearer when he says hello? Those are all mini versions of the lean in, and they all scream interest. There's also something incredibly sexy about the lean in because it creates intimacy without words. Imagine he says hello, his body tilts in just a little closer, and his voice drops along with it. In that instant, the air feels different, more private, more charged. That lean and makes you feel like you're sharing a moment no one else is part of. Ladies, don't underestimate this. Men don't lean in for everyone. They lean in for the people who make them feel drawn, curious, and connected. They lean in for the woman who makes their heart beat faster. Now, of course, Some men get nervous about being too obvious. So instead of a full lean, you might catch micro movements. He might rest a hand on the back of a chair near you, step just slightly into your personal space, or even tilt his head toward you while the rest of his body stays still. These little cues add up to one truth: he wants closeness. So here's the bottom line: when a man greets you and his body instinctively tilts toward yours, take note. That's not just manners, that's his attraction pulling him closer. It's his body saying what his words might not dare to: you draw me in, and I can't resist closing the distance. Watch for it, feel it. And the next time it happens, you'll know his lean in is more than a greeting, it's a silent confession. Let's finish with one of my personal favorites: the nervous touch. Now, when I say touch, I don't mean him reaching out and putting his hands on you straight away. That comes much later, when confidence has grown. What I'm talking about here is something far more subtle and often far more telling. When a man secretly likes you, his body doesn't sit still. That nervous, restless energy has to go somewhere, and it usually shows up in the way he touches himself. Adjusting his clothes, fixing his hair, fiddling with his watch, rubbing the back of his neck. These tiny movements are his body's way of saying, I'm on edge because you're here. Think about the last time you liked someone. Didn't you suddenly become hyper aware of yourself? You smooth your hair, check your outfit, maybe adjust your necklace or straighten your posture. Men do the exact same thing. It's not vanity, it's attraction making them want to look their best for you. Here's a common scenario. You walk into the room, and before you even say hello, he straightens his shirt, pulls at his sleeves, or runs a hand through his hair. That's not coincidence. That's his brain shouting, quick, look sharp. She's here? And he doesn't even realize he's doing it. Then comes the greeting itself. He says hello, but notice what his hands are doing. Maybe he fiddles with the strap of his bag, shifts his weight, or even taps his fingers lightly against his leg. That fidgeting isn't boredom, it's nerves. And those nerves are only there because your presence has turned up the intensity. Sometimes the nervous touch is more deliberate. He might adjust his tie, smooth down his jacket, or roll his sleeves. These gestures are subconscious ways of displaying himself. It's almost like his body is saying, look at me, notice me. I want to be attractive to you. Another giveaway, the self-soothing touch. You'll see him rub the back of his neck, scratch his jaw, or clasp his hands together when he greets you. Those little moves are his body's way of calming the rush of adrenaline he feels just from being around you. And then there's the big one, the hair touch. If a guy runs his hand through his hair or adjusts his style the moment he sees you, that's a classic sign. He wants to make sure he looks his best. And trust me, he doesn't do that for everyone. Now, here's something fun you can try. When you notice him doing these little nervous touches, mirror one of them. If he runs his hand through his hair, casually tuck your own hair behind your ear. If he adjusts his jacket, playfully smooth yours too. This creates a subtle sense of connection, and he'll feel like you're in sync without even realizing why. The important thing to remember is this nervous energy is not a weakness. In fact, it's one of the clearest signs a man is invested in you. Because if he didn't care, he'd be calm, he'd be relaxed. The nerves are proof that you matter, that he wants to impress you, and that your presence has him just a little off balance. So the next time you see him fiddling with his sleeve, running a hand through his hair, or shifting from foot to foot when he greets you, don't brush it off. Smile to yourself, because what he's really telling you, without saying a word, is, you make me nervous in the best possible way. Let's step back and reflect on what we've uncovered. Throughout this journey, we've peeled back the layers of attraction, examined the subtle signals, and explored the unspoken truths that shape how men respond to women. From the way a glance can stir desire to the hidden meanings behind words, gestures, and confidence, one thing becomes clear. Attraction isn't random. It's a powerful dance of psychology, emotion, and instinct. For men, these reactions may feel automatic, but for women, understanding them becomes a source of power. Knowing what triggers curiosity, passion, and desire allows you to navigate relationships with more clarity, confidence, and control. But remember, true connection isn't just about sparking attraction, it's about sustaining it, nurturing it, and building something meaningful on top of that initial spark. Now, I want to leave you with this thought: the way you carry yourself, the energy you bring into a room. and the confidence you radiate. Those things matter far more than you realize. Never underestimate your influence, because often it's not about being the most beautiful person in the room, but about being the most captivating. If this discussion opened your eyes or gave you a new perspective, don't let it stop here. Take these insights, apply them in your own life, and watch how the dynamics around you shift. And if you found value today, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more powerful insights, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message.